Welcome back, and thank you for being with us in this news edition. You're going to be with me, Kamika Gislen. Now let's kick off with the news headlines. Rwanda, Poland, and the United Nations Industrial Development Organization launch industrial safety project. East Africa Community tax chiefs meet in Kigali for the 53rd East African Revenue Authority Commissioners General Meeting. On the international news, von der Leyen lays out alternative to Reparations round for Ukraine as time runs out. Now let's take a short break to come back on the news details. Welcome back. Let's return to Rwanda. The government of Rwanda, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, and the Republic of Poland have signed a new partnership to strengthen Rwanda's capacity to handle industrial and natural hazards. The project, funded by Poland, was formalized in Vienna at UNIDO headquarters and will be carried out in collaboration with Rwanda's Fire and Rescue Brigade of the Rwanda National Police. Titled Strengthening Rwanda's Capacity to Respond to Industrial and Natural Hazards, the initiative seeks to develop feasibility, study, risk assessment, and roadmap to improve national emergency response system and industrial safety frameworks. UNIDO Director General Gerald Mora described the signing as the beginning of a triangular partnership among Poland as donor, UNIDO as expert, and Rwanda as implement. The project aligned with Rwanda's second national strategy from Transformation and Vision 2050. Moving ahead, today RBC hosted members of the International Vaccine Institute Board of Trustees at the National Reference Laboratory as part of ongoing collaboration to advance disease surveillance, vaccine research, and public health capacity in Rwanda and the region. Dr. Gashengu provided an overview of the NRL mandates and its contribution to outbreak response and future plans, including the establishment of the One Health Laboratory and enhanced research initiatives. Turning to the next story, today East African Community tax chiefs are meeting in Kigali for the 53rd East African Revenue Authority Commissioners General Meeting, aimed at strengthening revenue administration and deepening regional cooperation to drive economic transformation. The State of Minister in charge of National Treasury, Godfrey Kabera, while opening the 53rd East African Revenue Authority Commissioner General Meeting, stated that the East African community has made remarkable strides thanks to closer policy coordination and administrative collaboration, where the GDP growth across the ESC region averaged 5.8% in 2024-2025, demonstrating resilience and consistent expansion of economic activity. He also underscored existing gaps like informality, limiting the efficiency and scale of tax collection that require both national diligence and regional cooperation. He urged participants to strive for greater alignment and harmonization of tax policies that would reduce harmful competition, simplify compliance for cross-border businesses, and strengthen the integrity of the regional market. Now let's take a short break to be back on the international scene. Welcome back. On the international scene, Ursula von der Leyen has outlined a plan B to fund Ukraine should the reparations loan pledged to the Russian asset fail. The loan is still seen as the best option to keep the financing going, even if Belgium plays hardball. Princess Mungisha has more to the story.
Let's start in the African news, where South Sudan's President Salva Kiir has sacked one of his five vice presidents, a series of filings that came amid escalating internal conflict. Benjamin Baumel was appointed in February and had been widely rumored to be Kiir's preferred successor. The powerful vice president was also stripped of his position as a deputy leader of the ruling Sudan's People's Liberation Movement Party and was demoted from the General to Parade in National Security Service. Baumel has been under the United States sanction for alleged corruption since 2017, and the recent United Nations report accused companies affiliated with him of receiving $1.7 billion for alleged construction work that has never been done. President Kiir also fired the governor of the central bank and the head of the revenue authority, what is seen as cross of Baumel. The latest changes in the apparatus of the South Sudan's government came at a time when the questions are being asked about Kiir's succession amid fears of the return to civil war. Current elections have been postponed twice, and Kiir's main rival in the civil war, first Vice President Machar, was arrested in March and charged with treason. In addition, the fighting between forces to raise Kiir's and various armed groups has escalated in recent months. Turning to the international news, ILSIL has outlined alternative to repatriation of loan to fund Ukraine's budgetary and military needs as Belgium plays a hardball over the bold scheme to use the immobilized assets of the Russian central bank. The options include raising debt in the markets backed by the EU budget and the bilateral agreements for the individual borrowing at the national level. This would be considered if the effort to issue a repatriation loan pledged to Russians assets falls flat. Third, said the loan remains. The idea of issuing 150 billion repatriations euros emerged in September and has since gained traction among member states, which are cash-strapped, lack space in their national budgets to accommodate extra borrowing and fear market crash. The debt documents even on a commission to try to solve the Belgian concerns and convince the brother to sign off the plan, where leaders meet again in December for their final meeting of the year. Concluding the international news, a meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and the United States leader Donald Trump in Budapest remains feasible, Russian presidential aides commented for the Telegram channel. On October 16, the United States president, following the phone call with the Russian leader, announced that they had agreed to meet soon in the Hungarian capital. The summit was subsequently postponed after the parties were unable to reconcile their position sufficiently to achieve substantial progress on resolving the conflict in Ukraine. Both Moscow and Washington indicated that the meeting would be rescheduled once the appropriate conditions were met. Previously, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov remarked that Russian and US summit in Budapest would be mutually beneficial at a certain stage, while he emphasized that two preparatory work in essential before any meeting between the leaders can occur. Princess Mugisha Mama Gobesawi TV.
As you come to the end of the news edition, let's remind you of the top stories that we talked about. Rwanda, Poland, and the United Nations Industrial Development Organization launched Industrial Safety Project. East African Community tax chiefs meet in Kigali for the 53rd East African Revenue Authority Commissioners General Meeting. On the international news, von der Leyen lays out alternatives for reparation loan for Ukraine as time runs out. And this marks the end of today's news edition. Stay tuned.